You want to hear about quarterback Jayden Daniels from the man coaching him himself. You want to hear about Jamin Davis coming off the edge from the most energetic coach on this staff. And you want to hear about new linebackers from a Hall of Fame linebacker himself. Well, we got that and a little bit of lanyap for you on today's episode of Locked On Commanders.
You are Locked On Commanders, your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Commanders fans? Welcome into today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This is your daily podcast covering the Washington Commanders, and I'm your host, David Harrison, credentialed member of the media covering the Washington Commanders for CommanderCountry.com, a part of Sports Illustrated, here with you every Monday through Friday, and I greatly appreciate you coming through every dayers. I appreciate you coming through every single day. Don't forget that you can subscribe for free on YouTube or wherever you're listening to today's podcast. On this episode, you are going to hear from Washington Commanders linebacker coach Ken Norton Jr., defensive line coach Darryl Tapp, and we're going to start it all off with quarterback coach Tavita Pritchard. If you want to discuss this episode or anything else going on around the Washington Commanders that you just might be curious about, you can text me directly. You don't have to leave a comment. You don't have to try to find my email. You can just text me just like you do your friends, just like you do your family. Go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnCommanders. Sign up today, and from there, you can text me. I will text you. You will get content analysis, news, opinions, updates, all delivered straight to your phone. No hashtags, no filters, no apps. None of that. Just text me. I'll text you. Join subtext.com/LockedOnCommanders today to get in on that. We're going to start off with an interview with Tavita Pritchard. We had to meet with all the assistant coaches on Thursday, and you're going to hear from the quarterback coach first. So let's hear from him about Jayden Daniels and, of course, a little bit more.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you.
How you doing, man?
Good to see you. So obviously we got to talk about Jayden, right? So just overall, kind of what are your thoughts on Jayden so far?
Yeah, Jayden's been doing a great job. Just like showing up to work every day. There's a lot of consistency in who he is, and the guy that shows up every day to work, competes his butt off. And I think he's done a really good job of just like that consistency element of being the same guy every day. His teammates appreciate it. I know the staff appreciates it. And that goes for Sam as well. Obviously, I got two rookies in the room, and just to see those guys come to work every single day, being the same person, knowing that there's going to be bumps in the road and ups and downs, but just like, man, showing up has been just cool to see.
We've heard multiple people talk about how impressed they are with him and his early command of the offense. Are you kind of on that same page as well?
For sure. Yeah, I think Cliff and the offense that we run, the system we run, part of the emphasis too is like designing the system, not to make it easy or simple, because obviously you can't be too easy or simple to then go attack an NFL defense, but at the same point in time, like, there's a lot of thought and intent put into how are these guys going to learn it, and so I think it's hats off to Cliff too on designing a system and going about it in a way for not just Jayden to learn it well, or not just the rookies, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, everybody's a rookie in this offense, right? So I mean, the command of picking it up that's true of everybody. So I think Cliff and our staff has been really thoughtful about, hey, how do we design this thing to lessen the learning curve, to make that ramp up go as quickly as possible, because we need that to do what we want to do in the fall.
And then it was kind of indicated that fairly early on in the process, you guys kind of zeroed in on Jayden for the NFL draft. What was it that sticks out in your mind from his college tape that really kind of stood out to you about him?
Yeah, I think I had the I say privilege, but I'll lessen that word. I did have the opportunity to see him early in his career because I coached against him when I was at Stanford and he was at Arizona State, and I remember a very athletic version of. I remember a very athletic young quarterback who was like, wow, this guy's got something, and. Fast forward to then I evaluated him for the draft, and I just remember seeing this like incredibly polished, athletic passer who I mean, honestly, like, I don't think he had a bad game this last year. I mean, I'm just watching game after game, clip after clip, and he's just dialed and just dicing up defenses with his legs, with his arm. He's processing. The ball is coming out. I mean, all things that you need to translate to this level were present in his tape. But I think the the most important thing that was identified as we went through that process was just the culture fit that he is here, right? Like we've talked about the competitiveness, we've talked about how he works, his love for football. Like those are things that DQ preaches day in and day out. And to find a quarterback, and it's consistent of everyone, obviously having been here last year, consistent of everyone we brought in on staff, everyone we brought in the draft and free agency. Like there's commonalities there, right. You know, and so that's true of Jayden as well.
Does it help having two rookies be able to go through this process together?
Yeah, and they knew each other.
Yeah,
and they knew each other.
Older too.
Yeah, and they're older, but they have a great rapport, and yeah, so for them to kind of have each other, to know, hey, we're both rookies in this thing, we're both learning as we go. That has been incredibly helpful for both of them to be able to have that. And then, you know, I got two older guys, you know, two vets in the room, which has been great for both sides, just to be able to, you know, share some of that knowledge, some of that experience, and then for those younger guys to have resources that they can go ask. I mean, right there.
Speaking of the road, how has David Blau transitioned into coaching?
Dude, Blau's the man. I love his energy. Love the way he works. You know, we got so many great minds on our offensive staff, but obviously I get to work closely with him. He's a phenomenal person, and he's, you know, obviously young in this coaching thing, but he's a star, man. He's gonna be great.
Hey, Coach, as these guys go into veteran mini camp next week and they take that break before training camp, what is the message that you want to leave with them in being prepared and getting ready for when they come back in late July for training camp, the real deal?
Yeah. What do we want to leave them? You know, I think it's really just finishing this offseason strong. You know, we had one chance at this first offseason with DQ, with AP, with this new group, and I think it's just finishing this chapter strong so that we can position ourselves to come back after the break and hit the ground running. You know, and so I think that will be a function of how we finish with this last OTA and then the minicamp next week.
Has anything surprised you about just the process of learning the playbook and putting it out there as the coaches, and they had said the crawl, run, and walk,
yep.
But in learning that playbook and the process and then going out on the field and putting that into play, has anything surprised you about what you see in that process of learning the playbook?
Oh man, I think in learning the playbook for me, and then seeing the players, you know, have to learn it too. We were just talking about, I don't know if you were here, but you know, I think Cliff, you know, getting to see Cliff work and Cliff interact and support us on staff. Like, I think what's been really cool is like he has no ego. He obviously has a phenomenal offensive mind, but the way that we think about our guys learning it is awesome. I mean, the way that we're intentional about, hey, how are they going to retain this? How are they going to learn it? How do we structure practice and meetings? And what's going in, what's being installed in a way that's going to maximize their ability to learn and retain this. I think that's been surprising, if you will. You know, is just the focus on those guys, the focus on putting them in the best position. And that's been fun to learn as we've gotten underway with this offense.
And in veteran minicamp next week, what are you hoping to see in that final stretch?
Man, competition. You know, I think it's something that gets preached around here all the time, but I think to see our guys compete, to have energy. I mean, that's how we're going to go into this offseason feeling good. That's the way we will show that we finish strong. Is if these guys come out with energy and they compete next week, and we get after it and get better, because we can close some distance in the team we want to be tomorrow and then next week if we really want to. Yeah, you got it.
All right. Once again, that was quarterback coach Tavita Pritchard for the Washington Commanders talking about Jayden Daniels, talking about a host of things. Coming up next, you're going to hear from the most energetic coach I've seen in this building since Chris Harris. That is defensive line coach Darryl Tapp. We're going to talk about his energy. We're also going to talk about Jamin Davis coming off the edge. That's next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Passion, drive, and patience. Coach Tapp certainly has plenty of all of that, but also eBay Motors has plenty of that. They know that what brings home a winning trophy is also what's going to keep your ride or die vehicle alive. And today's episode of Locked On Commanders is brought to you by eBay Motors. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and everything you need to level it up to get peak performance out of that car, whether it's superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're looking for speed, you're looking for power, or maybe you're looking for a little bit of style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you're always going to find what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're going to burn rubber, not burn cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Thanks again for making Locked On Commanders your first listen, your first view today and every day, everydayers. Thanks for coming through on a regular basis like you do. The next episode of Locked On Commanders will drop Sunday night, Monday morning, depending on where you are and what platform you're listening or viewing on. But in the meantime, make sure you check out Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed just for you every single day to bring you the biggest news and analysis and opinions in sports, all on a YouTube app or YouTube website for free, of course, or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. So again, Locked On Sports streaming 24/7, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now let's get to probably the most fun interview I had of the day on Thursday, and that is defensive line coach Darryl Tapp. We're talking about his energy, we're talking about competition, and we're talking especially about Jamin Davis coming off the edge.
I mean, let's start with your energy, right? Yeah. Like, honestly, this coaching staff hasn't seen energy like yours since Chris Harris before he went to Tennessee and everything else. Where does that energy come from? Because it seems very natural.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been me. Even when I was a player, I was always that same guy, just kind of bring energy to the group. That energy can be contagious. So as a player, it's something my guys fed off of, and it's still in the same role as a D-line coach now. That's something I told them guys, I'm not changing. I'm going to be the same person every day. You need me to get you up, I'll get you up. Like, I'll get you going with the energy-wise, but that's just who I've always been.
And it is contagious. So watching yesterday, and the guys are getting off the line, and you're challenging them to beat each other off the line. And I'm on the dirt, and I'm old, and I'm broke, but I want to get down there and compete with John Allen and with Jamin Davis. What benefit as a coach, like when because obviously you have the player's mentality as well. How does that impact a player to have a coach that wants them to challenge each other every rep and beat each other off the line, hitting those threats?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is that me being a player is an added bonus. Just because I understand what they're going through when they put their hand in the dirt in each and every play. Now, that doesn't carry too much weight if I don't do my job as far as coaching those guys up. So I've been able to balance the two and get them right to where the guys now believe in what I'm preaching. So it's very easy for those guys to want to go and compete for a guy that's in the exact same shoes as them. And my two assistants are the same way, with Brian Kerrigan being a teammate here of mine here, playing for 11 years, and then Sharif Floyd, who's a first-round draft pick, playing D-tackle. So we got a perfect dynamic, three of us, to where these guys are really buying into what we're preaching, trying to get accomplished. They're head first in each and every day.
And can we talk about Coach Kerrigan? Like, I was here when he retired and wanted to go into coaching. How do you feel? Because he's so fairly young in his coaching career, right? How do you feel he's doing as a coach?
He's doing awesome, man. Like I said, the fact that he's played, he's a top sacker in Commander/Redskin history, like that speaks volumes to the person that he is, the knowledge that he has. And I'm continually pressing him to the guys, like, tap into this guy. He knows a lot. Very well spoken, respect the guy in the locker room, especially on the staff. So it's just been a huge bonus to have for myself to be working through this thing.
And John Allen, Deron Payne, two guys who have been here through some hard times in this franchise history. How do you feel like they're adapting to the new coach style, your style, and what you guys are asking of them, this new style of play?
They've been awesome. I can honestly say that. Like, they've done so many things in this league and for this team currently. And they still have a beginner's mindset each and every day they step into the building. And the young guys are all feeding off of that. The additions of Cleveland Farrell and Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler only added to that mix. So John and the run don't think they have to lead it all by themselves. They got other vets that have done a lot of things in this league as well. So it's been really a community effort trying to get everything to where we want it to go from being on.
Yeah. John had some quotes last year, right? He voiced his frustrations, which can always be dangerous in the public eye, of course, of dealing with the media. Did you feel like you had to have any conversations with him about those feelings, or you just kind of wipe that clean and just, if it's not a problem here now, it's not a problem?
No, when I first came in, I wanted to make sure we were all on a clean slate. Now, with that said, you got to unleash some of the stuff that happened before, just so everybody kind of understands everybody's standing. But it wasn't anything it wasn't any hard tension or anything like that. It was just so everybody understood everybody stood. For me, I told them, like, I don't expect you to just respect me just because I'm the coach. I have to work each and every day to gain and earn all of you guys' respect. The way I'm handling myself, the way I'm helping to put you guys in a position to be clear what I'm communicating. And that's an ongoing thing from now till forever. And I think just by that olive branch being extended by me and I'm giving one back, that we've been able to see stuff the same way. So it's been, like I said, it's been really good. Those guys have been head first with this mindset. Like, it's been really good to get around those guys.
And then rookie Johnny Newton, obviously, I know he's frustrated. He can't come out there with you guys. But how do you keep him developing, even though he can't put any weight on that foot yet and get out there with you guys?
I'm pushing that all to the vets. Like Deron, and John, and Cleveland, and Dante, and Dorrance, they've all been exceptional in leading him, leading Javante Dean-Baptiste, leading our undrafted guy, Darryl Tapp, like just helping those guys along the path now. Those three guys are extremely smart. Like Durzon and Javante and Norrell, they are involved in all of our D-line meetings. They're not just sitting in the back. They're involved in it, asking questions, and trying to understand why to everything. And like I said, those vets have been awesome as far as bringing those guys on. So we got three really good guys, two guys we drafted and one guy that's undrafted that can really help us going forward. So I'm excited if they continue their path, get them healthy, and understand the defense, really get them on the grass from training camp, hopefully. We got something really good.
And then we got to talk about Jamin. So Jamin getting some edge work. How has he been adapted to that? I know Coach Witt said he's fast, strong, and willing. Is that your take on it as well?
No doubt, man. Like, those kind of men don't do go across the earth. Like, he has some special stuff to him. And we're just trying to always put our best guys on the field. That's the mindset here that we're cultivating as coaches with our staff, with the players. Like, everybody has something special that they do. It's our job to identify that and to use that for our advantage. He's been a willing guy, buying in to get on the edge, working with myself, with Coach Ryan, working with Coach Reese to get us opportunities, just trying to put together a package to help him along. So we're just trying to find ways to get our best guys, our best 19 to 22 guys on the field at any given time, and just push forward and make it.
Yeah. And then we always talk about coaches developing players. Obviously, you're doing a lot of that. But as a coach yourself, who are you leaning on, and who's coaching you to be a better coach and continue to grow yourself?
Honestly, it starts at the top. Dan Quinn. He's been one of my mentors for a long time. I played for DQ in Seattle. He was my D-line coach in 2009. And ever since then, he's always been in my ear, from team to team, and then as I go into the coaching ranks. So he really does a good job putting things in your plate, helping you to cross that bridge as far as connecting with player to player, player to coach, coach to coach. Like, he wants that thing to be tight. So he's done a really good job there. Coach Witt. Like I said, first-time coordinator, been in the league for 25 plus years. First opportunity at it. Just picking his brain about the things that he's gone through, he's had to address. I can go down the list. Coach Norton, who's my office mate, he's right beside me. Hall of Fame career as a player, Hall of Fame career as a coach. Tommy Donatello, Jason Simmons, like Coach Logano, Kerrigan Reeves, like even the younger guys like Kerrigan and Will Gay, like just a really good staff. George Banko, a really good staff on the defensive side that nobody has egos. We all just want to get better. Nobody has questions. Nobody has a problem asking questions, knocking on the door to find out the answer or a better way to do stuff. In the same way we serve it up to each other, it's in the right back. So it's been a really cool situation to be in, really dynamic. I'm enjoying each and every day. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, one more coach interview coming your way. It is Hall of Fame linebacker Ken Norton Jr. talking about his new linebacker group. And, of course, he's going to talk a little bit about Jamin Davis, too, because Jamin Davis is working with both groups. He's working D-line, he's working linebackers, but we're also going to hear from him about Frankie Luvu, Bobby Wagner, and more. So that's coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, I can tell you that I'm so glad he's here. You know, he's got a lot of energy, enthusiasm. You can tell just by the way he works. He loves the game. You can tell by his history and his superpower, what he does best, with his speed and his ability to blitz, that he's going to be an impact player on the team. And he's going to affect everyone around him. I really like that.
How so? How does he affect everything around him?
Well, because he's contagious. You know, just sitting at a table with someone who's laughing or telling jokes or really positive, it affects the table. And the defense is his table. And his energy and his enthusiasm and his passion, it's really contagious to the guys. You can see when he's around, guys feel it. He impacts everyone.
You guys obviously signed Bobby as well, drafted Jordan. Where does this leave Jamin in the whole situation? What have you seen from him so far?
Well, what I can say is, all the good teams that I've been on some good ones, been on some bad ones, that competition brings out the best in everyone. There's very competitive situations. And we're in a good situation where we have a lot of competition. Guys who play well, guys who have a history of playing well, and guys who are very, very competitive. So what that gives us is a group that's very competitive, and that's going to bring the best out of it.
Talked about Frankie being infectious amongst the team. How has Bobby been kind of amongst not just the linebackers, but I'd say that's the defense as a whole?
Well, Bobby, very special. Just in a lot of these guys are young, and they've watched Bobby play, and Bobby comes with a reputation that he's been to the top. He's been all pro for all these numerous of years, so he has a lot of respect. So I think that he gives us legitimacy, just as far as this guy knows how to lead, he knows how to work. So and he knows that everybody's watching. So he's done a great job of just being Bobby, showing up every day, showing them how to work, understanding the routine, and being very focused. So he has that secret sauce that everybody wants to be a part of.
What have you seen from Jordan so far?
Jordan, a rookie. Well, everything we thought he'd be, he is. Smart, athletic, tough, reliable, and a high competitor. He competes, fits right in with, the older guys. They all love him.
When you talk about kind of locker room dynamics, how important is it to have a guy like Bobby, a player leader within a locker room, as opposed to a bunch of young guys around?
Right. Well, similar to what I said before about high competitors, being good teams, you have really good leadership, player-led leadership on the really good teams as well. And Bobby's a part of that, and he can help give the players that confidence to be leaders and show them how to do it.
Coach,
he's been real good at that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. When it comes to how do you orchestrate practices and OTAs and all those operations, some coaching staffs like to do it where you almost scrimmage after at the end of every practice. But you guys have taken a much more compartmentalized approach of coaching up your units. And I think it was practice 6 or 7 before you went 11 on 11 fully. What's the advantage of doing it this way versus maybe the other way of doing 11s early?
Well, I mean, you have to ask DQ exactly, how and why he did it that way. But what you do know is it allows us coaches to coach. I have a lot more time individually with my group. I have a lot more time. It didn't go from individual to 11 on 11. You're just taking steps. First it's just me with the guys, then it's me with the D-line with the guys, then it's me with the secondary. Now it's the whole group together going against the offense. So now when you have a team that we're all learning a new system, both offensively and defensively, you can take the necessary steps in the offseason to really do a job of coaching the details.
And then we always talk
before
about
everything goes too fast.
Yeah, and we always talk about coaches developing players. But as a coach yourself, like how are you continuing to develop? Who's coaching you as a coach?
Well, we're coaching ourselves. I mean, I think that the fact that our staff from so many different places, and we have guys that have worked together, guys that haven't worked together, and I think that the ability to put your ideas out there and see what we like, see how our personnel fits into the things that we want to do, And so it allows us to understand what's going to work for us, what type of personnel we have, and for everybody to hear everybody. So we're all kind of learning and learning new ways to play and to coach.
Now, what's kind of the step you want to take in the mini camp coming up next week?
I don't know the steps, but I think the direction, the competition, the vibe that we have right now, how hard everybody's working, the way the team is progressing and taking care of the team, I think that we just want to continue going in that direction, the right direction. And if we can continue that, then we'll be happy.
So that was Hall of Fame linebacker Ken Norton Jr. How many times do you get to say you had a Hall of Famer on your show? We just did it here at Locked On Commanders. Commanders linebacker coach, rather. Of course, before him, defensive line coach Darryl Tapp. Before him, quarterback coach Tavita Pritchard. Covered a lot of bases today with these coaches. Insiders. We've got even more interviews that we actually had and even more of these interviews that we had. So we'll look out for those. You're going to be getting those videos, insiders, this weekend. Those will be coming your way. So come back Monday. We'll have more conversations about the Washington Commanders. We'll have a mini camp primer coming up in the beginning of the week as well. Lots to still talk about before we hit the quote unquote dreaded dead period of the NFL between then and training camp. In the meantime, if you've got questions or comments, throw them down in the YouTube comment section, and I will read as many of those as possible, or just text me. Go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnCommanders. Become a Locked On Commanders insider today. Shoot me a text. I'll shoot you one back, and we can talk about the Washington Commanders 24/7, except for when I'm sleeping or you're sleeping. Don't forget, make sure you're also checking out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever 24/7 live streaming sports channel on YouTube. As always, thank you so much for making Locked On Commanders your first listen of the day, every day. Thanks for coming through every single day. Until we speak again, if you're out and about, please be safe, be kind, enjoy the weekend. I will see you next time for another episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.